Welcome to the Trash Cats Trash Cast. I'm Ricky.
I'm Steven.
We are your mom's favorite friends when you invite them over, and she asks them if they want a plate of something to eat, heats them up that nice casserole.
Yes.
And your boys.
And then they might eventually hear the podcast and not like us anymore.
Yeah. This is them? This is Richard? Oh. Why would he say such a thing? About the Pope, no less.
Those memes are pretty fucking good, man.
They were good.
So this is our freestyle episode.
Yes, sir, it is. I should have said that when I did the introduction. I'm working on it. Consistency on a level.
We're getting there. So how was your week?
Week's been good. I've been hearing more back from that potential new job. It seems pretty good and lined up, and working on tying up some things at the current one. I want to make sure they're all set and ready to go. So working a little bit of extra, but it's for a good cause. All my staff is on board with me, and they know what's up and know why it's a good decision for me. So that's been a huge relieving of stress on my side, and I appreciate them for that.
Fuck yeah.
How's your day, or how's your week been?
It's been okay. I'm feeling a little bit better today. I was getting really overwhelmed this last week, but starting to get in a groove again. Have been a little restless. We got snowed in the last couple days, and I'm ready to get outside and get some sun ASAP, but I'm doing all right.
Hell yeah, man.
Yeah.
We actually had a really gorgeous sunset the other night. We were, talking shit about it on the way home, but like how quickly the tides change, and, the days start getting longer again, and you're just so thankful for that little bit of sunshine. And I'm fortunate enough, this is the only job I've ever had where I'm out before, 6 o'clock.
That's nice.
Yeah. So and I don't go in at dark.
Right.
My last job before this one, I'd go in when it was dark, and I'd leave after, at like 4 o'clock in the morning. And it's like, fuck yeah. This job sucks ass.
You've been chained up in a kitchen missing sunsets for a decade.
Yeah, man. It's fucking brutal.
They'd never let me see even one.
Just one, though. Fuck, even in Florida was pretty brutal sometimes.
Yeah.
Oh, that place was dope because we would, it was, the hours at first were set to I think it said to whim or weather. So we could just it's kind of slow. We're just going to dip. Or if it was shitty rainy, it was like, ain't nobody coming out. We don't want to be here. Fuck this. We're going home.
Fuck it. That's the best when you're at a job and you can leave whenever you want. That's a good feeling. Yeah. That is freedom.
So, do you have any honorable mentions?
Yeah. I just sent them your way. Do you got any you want to run out?
I do.
Okay. I got one I'll mention in after you do yours and after the links.
So. All right, cool. So the one I wanted to mention was something I just heard this week while I was at work.
Okay.
Was super dope new album by Bootsy Collins that came out last year that I did not realize was out.
Wait, what?
Bootsy fucking Collins put out a new album. And it's fucking really dope. I put it on just because I was like, I'll check it out. And I was expecting, some typical, Bootsy Funkadelic shit. But it's got some, as you would expect, some heavy fucking bass rips. And he's got Victor Wooten on there, and Snoop Dogg's on a track. And fucking really, really good, really well done. Super jam. I'm definitely going to be playing that more often while I'm at work because it was just good energy, fun shit. If you don't know who Bootsy Collins is, you can go fuck yourself.
You know what's funny? I did not know he had an album out a year ago. I just had to double check myself. I set up a stage for a show for him one time.
Nice.
At what was it, like Hollywood Casino in Lawrenceburg? Like there was already a stage where I was on a set crew. And stole a bunch of buffalo chicken wings. And
hell yeah.
Yeah, I didn't. I don't think I think I heard him play, but I didn't. I didn't get much interaction at that concert. I forgot about that.
I've heard he's pretty chill. You know, fucking goofy and weird, but that's to be expected. I mean, look at the guy.
Yeah, I can't say I'm a big fan, but I think he's cool. You know what I mean?
I wasn't a huge fan of him until I heard him play with Buckethead. And then heard him do shit with Buckethead. Yeah.
That would be fun.
Yeah, it's fucking wild. He's like not even credited, but he's on a bunch of Buckethead tracks just as like a voiceover dub, and he does some other goofy shit. Buckethead played at his birthday party in Cincinnati a few years ago, and it was like just Bootsy was like just sitting on the stage while Buckethead just ripping solos on shit.
Dude, that's cool. All right, you're gonna send those to me later.
We'll do.
Cool. You got anything else?
Nope, that was it.
Okay. Let me know when you get that first link.
Yeah.
So this first one I was sending your way, it's this old book from 1775 called The Compendium of Demonology and Magic.
Yeah, I'm actually familiar with this one.
I thought you might. So this image is cool. It all. I think just recently the book went to public domain. And it's an 18th century demonology book comprised of more than 30 exquisite watercolors showing various demon figures, as well as magic and Kabbalistic signs. It's got Latin spell writing and necromancy and all these demon imagery from way back. And some of it's pretty fucking cool. It seems like it's made up of a bunch of different artists' work from over that time. If you like occult or like old demon painting stuff, it's definitely fun. Some of it's like, I do wish a lot of the demons were like better. It's like a very stylistic thing, like
it's kind of old school mythological demon stuff.
Yeah, and some of them I like a lot. Like, I'm actually using in a piece of art, dude, I've been stuck on this piece of art forever, but I'm using that main demon with the face mask in a piece, and I've put like 15 hours into this piece I'm stuck on. So like I've spent so much time with that severed leg that he's holding.
Oh yeah.
Trying to recolor it and stuff, but I thought that's a fun book, and it's cool. Like, all those pictures are available in high def for free download now. So
this was actually an inspiration for me. For one of the books that I made. It's the largest book that I've made. It's not like large, but it's like the most pages. I've got like 600 pages in it. And my goal was to fill it up with, demonic shit and different occult symbolism and stuff like that. Make a book that scares people.
Yeah, I still haven't got to see that one in person.
I haven't added much to it at all. It was one of those things. I made this awesome kick-ass book, and then I realized, like, fuck, now if I put something in it, it's in there forever. And I didn't want to fuck it up. So I've only got, I've got a drawing of Vlad the Impaler, and...
You've showed me that drawing.
Yeah, that's a fucking good one. I think that's on my Instagram. And then I have a drawing of Leviathan that I have yet to do anything with. But yeah, I want to add some... I was going to even do like Cannibal Corpse lyrics and just like write it in like a weird text or, font or something. I got like D&D style, like they have like the Dwarven script and stuff like that. I was going to translate a bunch of stuff into shit like that and write it in there. But
dude,
that was my thing on that.
That totally is a thing, the like blank sketchbook syndrome.
Yeah, man. Especially I think it's even stronger when you make it. And like I'm so happy with how the actual book came out that I just didn't want to fuck it up.
Because it's sacred when it's like still untouched, and then
Yeah.
there's a risk in the creative endeavor of touching the pages.
Yeah. I made a different one that was like all going to be for portraits. It's got like the wooden block covers on either side, and I'm really happy with how that one turned out too, and it's a lot smaller, but the whole thing was going to be portraits, and I froze on making that because I got in my own head about it.
Yeah. So speaking of scary art shit, do you want to check out this second last honorable mention? Sorry.
Yeah.
So this dude, I sent you a couple links. His name is Strange Creatures Collage. He's on Instagram, strange_creature_collage. He does analog gore collage. So this definitely is not for everyone. It's hardcore
brutal.
metal. Yeah, it's brutal. Dead bodies collage.
Yeah. Like scenes, like crime scenes and like autopsy pictures and
yes, tons of autopsy stuff. He's had some he's landed a couple big album art commissions. I forget who the fuck they were. One of them was a rapper though. That's kind of big right now. But me and him, there are times we both have sourced the same images and stuff. Like we share some similarities. He definitely is way more on the grotesque and like chaotic side.
That's a good word for just chaotic.
Yeah. And I've been a big fan of his. I've followed him for a long time. I will say there's definitely, I like some pieces a lot more than others because like I never would want to be quite as like gore focused.
Right.
I prefer a little like more elegance in my own work, but I love how insane and brutal his stuff is.
Yeah, he someone's got to do it and he does it well.
Exactly. Some of it just gets, a lot of it can look the same because it's just so messy. Yeah. But it really is a very niche aesthetic, but what I admire so much is it is a strong aesthetic. He has a powerful look to his stuff, and you can tell it's his.
I'm really surprised that Instagram's cool with this being on their platform.
Because I see people get banned for a lot less too.
Showing a titty,
Yeah.
Just a little nipple, sticking out, and it's over with.
Yeah, I was going to talk about one of my other buddies another day, but he does like sadomasochism, BDSM art, and he does some really cool stuff. It's like comic book-esque, graphic-y, but if his stuff gets banned all the time because it's slightly more sexual. But this shit is so violent, like Strange Creature. Like it's weird what is allowed and isn't allowed. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So I thought that was fun. Some good gore art if anybody's interested. I particularly like the piece. I think it's Slither, the black and white one. It's one of the more simple ones.
Yeah, it's definitely. It's got the same structure as like you would see on like a sculpture of like a bust, but just the details of it. The more you look at it, the more you realize how fucked it is.
Yeah, he's brutal.
I like the this other one you sent me.
That's the one that's an album cover, and I forget what rapper it is. I think it's. Not rapper. I think it's the Getter. The beat dude.
It's really fucking good. It's really beautiful.
Yeah, that one I'm a big fan of.
I don't know if it doesn't have a name on this one, but
yeah, I think it's untitled. But yeah, definitely check him out. And then I got one last one that's a very different direction.
Oh, good.
So, and I do want to find the name of his book. So, this doctor was on Rogan. Dr. Carl Hart. He is a American neuroscientist. He worked in psychology at Columbia University, and he researches drug abuse, drug addiction. Really cool dude, and I really liked his episode on Rogan. I questioned some things of what he said, because he recently wrote this book about it's like called doing drugs for grown-ups, and he talks about like responsible drug use and changing the stigma on addiction culture. And he wasn't previously a like hard drug user, so he's been doing heroin and hard drugs for like over 5 years now, and to help him understand. But what's interesting is, all the drugs he's doing is like 100% pure, or like very clean. They're not the same as what most drug users are using.
Right.
And as a currently sober heroin user, I find it hard to say you can use certain drugs such as heroin responsibly anymore, only because most places the drug supply is so dirty. Like, if heroin was still heroin, I would want to currently use heroin, but there's almost no heroin that isn't fentanyl anymore, and everybody's dying. So I didn't disagree with what he's doing, because I think he's doing super important work. Like, we need people who are willing to fight for a perspective change of drug addiction. But yeah. I did have some, like, I don't know. I just wanted to pick his head a little bit. So I ended up sending him emails and shit, and he replied back to me and sent me a free copy of his book. And I just think that was really fucking cool of him. He didn't have to do that, and it's very kind of him, and I'm very excited to read this book. And I think he's a good person for people to check out if they're interested in drug abuse, changing the stigmas of drug addiction kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Drug use for adults, Dr. Carl Hart.
Definitely cool for him to reach out like that, and if nothing else, to acknowledge that you have input and your input's valid as well. Yeah, to have somebody that can do that kind of research and give a perspective to people that don't know, or that don't understand what drugs really do, and like what drug culture is, and what addiction is like, and like you said, to destigmatize that. I think that's huge, and moving forward with helping people that have trouble with addiction.
Definitely. And like I said, there's definitely things he said that I would not feel comfortable saying or don't necessarily agree with, but I still think his work is very important. We need those people, for sure.
Word. Well, fuck yeah.
Yeah. What else is going on?
Man, jack shit.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, it's probably more of a good thing than, no news is good news lately. Although there is news in the news. I'm trying to avoid it lately. I got pretty absorbed into it over the winter.
Were you watching the impeachment trial stuff?
No, I didn't watch anything all day, and I just got home and I saw some news and about how his defense team is trash. I kind of expected that much, but I don't know how much that's actually going to make an impact, which is the fucked up part.
Well, I know we don't want to get into it too much, but it's interesting. What I thought was pretty ironic is the news stations that spent so much time supporting him were really going hard against him today. It was such a flip flop. It was.
Oh, I didn't even notice that. I didn't see that.
They were. I'm sure not all of them. It wasn't Fox, but some of the other ones. I was just found it interesting. They back whoever's got the power at the moment. But
say shouts out to Trump's new lawyer who did make one of the strongest points against him in saying that the election was real and the results are in and true.
Yeah, they fucked themselves over in court a lot.
I mean, homeboy only had a week to prepare for the trial, so.
Do you mind if I take a turn?
Yeah, do it.
Okay, so this is random, but I was going to shout out my girlfriend Sarah for getting to work with all this fucking snow. Oh my god, we got like 8 inches of snow in like 24 hours or whatever. I just want to get outside. But one of the things I was going to run by you. So I was thinking about like where we like to go with these freestyle episodes, and I like that it can just go everywhere and anywhere. And I was just trying to get some thoughts together, and I was taking a shower, and I was like, what are we going to talk about in the next couple of days? And I was like, what has been going through my mind all week? That like internal dialogue shit, like
yeah.
Where have your thoughts been? What are you thinking about this week?
Are you asking me right now?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
What's going on?
It's mostly been time management for me.
I'm struggling
between as I want to always try to make time, like there's the 3 biggest things in my life right now are between making time for work, making time for podcast, whether it's just reviewing stuff or thinking about topics and whatnot, making sure there's time to get on and edit stuff or go over shit if we need to, and then making sure I spend time with my cousin. So it's between those 3 things, and this week's been in particular really strong. I hung out with him on Sunday, and then Monday I went to sleep early because I knew this week was going to be kind of brutal. Then last night you and I were talking about playing games, and like that's mental health time for me. So I want to make sure I make time for that. Absolutely,
definitely. It's some fun on Halo Master Chief Collection.
Fuck yeah, man! Can find,
Dude, I had that. I was proud.
Find the wet bandits.
I was proud of that one round I had. I wanted to send you some screen recordings, but it takes so much time. But fortunately, Sarah was with me. I had this one play that like it's gonna stay in my mind for a long time. Nice. I still wish I would have sent it to you, but I had a lot of fun.
If you recorded it, then I can find it on.
I didn't
Xbox. Oh my god! You just hit the home button and then press Y.
I only know how to do screen recordings on Xbox by accident. It just records whatever it wants.
I record anything. Anytime anything funny happens, I'm fucking on it. I don't care about the rest of the match. I'll stop and do that.
Hell yeah!
My fucking warthog flips in a weird way, and it's like, all right, somebody's got to see this shit. That fucker landed back on 4 wheels. I'm ready to roll.
So,
yeah, mostly, I was going to say, mostly
management.
just, stressing on time management a little bit, just because there's a lot going on. Then I got D&D tomorrow night, and then Friday, Keith and I are going to play A Way Out.
Yeah.
Then Saturday, the fuck did I have going on Saturday? I know I had something going on Saturday.
You got the whole calendar planned out.
Yeah, man. It's all like fun shit. It's not like it's like a burden or whatever. It's like stuff I want to do, but it's like I want to make sure that I allot that mental focus for that, and also I have work.
Yeah.
And I'm notoriously, I have a problem with, I can't turn it off. I can't turn work off. I just can't not think about it when I'm at home. And part of it's because my boss emails me, at random times all the time. So I expect at any moment I could be in a phone call with them.
Oh, that's so fucking terrible.
Yeah, I'm not a salaried employee. So anyway. So what's been your background thoughts this week?
Man, especially since we did that what was it, the Carts of Darkness?
Yeah.
Between that and some other shit, like, dude, that meme has been stuck in my head. I just want to do hood rat shit with my friends.
Damn right.
Dude, it's like, oh my god, dude. Like, I miss people. Like, I miss a lot of shit.
That says a lot.
Yeah, like, I miss how a lot of things used to be, there's something about that whole thing, like, talking about some of that stuff. Like, I don't know. I just miss a lot of people that aren't alive anymore, or I'm not close to anymore, or people that I still am close with, like, having some of those old fun memories. And that stuff's been in my head a little bit lately. And some of it feels sad, but some of it also is like pleasant memories. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Getting that nostalgic, borderline existential feeling.
Yeah, I stay with those existential vibes, man. Like, that's like a struggle for me.
Yeah,
for real.
No, absolutely. I think all the time about, like, I'm happy with my conclusion. I like the idea that like what's the meaning of life? Like, I'm happy with my personal view that the meaning of life is whatever you make it out to be. And it's your own personal journey to figure that out on your own, because there's no other meaning to it besides that. And I'm happy with that. But I often think about, like, but why, but how, like, cosmologically speaking, how are we here? Like, what is the void that the universe exists inside of that, permits matter and energy and life to exist? Like, that's a thought that permeates me a couple times a week.
That sounds exhausting.
It's not, it's fun, but yeah, because it's like, it's just a rabbit hole of, like, speculation and, like, conjecture. Like, none of it means anything because there's no evidence and proof or research to show on that. It's just, life's what you make it, man.
I mostly agree with that. I don't have quite that amount of wonder. I think that's really cool though, but
That's also how I look at nostalgia and stuff like that is when I feel, like when I think about, like, my grandpa or, like, my grandparents, I think about, I don't know, it helps me to put things into perspective in that way, to grieve, I guess, and to move forward and to have happy memories about that, rather than, that's the other one, is, like, I don't like going to, funerals and shit anymore, because, like, then that implants that memory in your head, and, like, especially, like, open casket shit, like, they never look the same.
No, it's terrible.
So it's like, you don't put that memory in your head, if it's like a religious thing or whatever, like, I guess, but it's like, you don't let anyone ever tell you, like, you'll feel bad if you don't go to do it, or, like, my aunt died, she had cancer, and she was in hospice, and she was gone at that point, but, like, we went to go see her, and, like, that image is stuck in my head and that's how I remember her. And it's fucked up, and I don't like it.
No, not at all. Yeah, man. I've been missing things lately. I think I really miss adrenaline. Like I miss the people and the situations, but I miss like going fast and doing sketchy shit, you know?
You want to hit up a fucking Six Flags this summer?
It doesn't quite do it for me. I still
fucking
love it.
Cedar Point, boy. Up in Toronto, in the city that's not Toledo.
Yeah, that's super fun. But there's something about that. It's hard for like. I really think a lot of those things, like missing extreme things when your life was extreme, or like nostalgia feelings. I really feel like so much of it is chemical. Like I feel like those are symptoms of chemical things being off.
Yeah,
yeah.
It's the way that your brain reacted in that moment that you, and that, I mean, that's a lot too with like your olfactory responses when you smell, like how smell is one of the biggest nostalgic triggers, because it creates a sensation in your brain of that chemical compound of what that was, and it recreates it like more effortlessly than your own memory does.
Dude, that's a weird feeling when you smell that's not there, kind of thing. Yeah. Because you're thinking of like subconsciously, it's like something that can't possibly be there, but
right,
your brain can trick you every time.
Did I tell you? It might have been on one of these recordings. I don't think it was. It might have been one of the test ones we did before we got started for real. The one day I was talking with my mom about something, and as I was walking away from her, and she was reminding me it was my grandmother's birthday. And as she said that sentence, I smelled her. It was like a lotion she used to use, and she kept it around the house, and it was I don't remember the name. We looked it up, but there was a certain brand that she used all the time, and it was just always in the house. And the room right off of the kitchen on the Murdoch house, it smelled like they had like the pantry with like the beauty supplies and whatever, with the mirror, and her lotion would sit up there, and you could smell it whenever you walked in and out of the kitchen. And that's, a sensation that I connect directly to her. But it was just as she was saying that, I smelled it, and then it went away. It was like, oh, fuck, that was wild.
It's like a ghost.
Man.
Feel like,
that's one of those, things like I can see where people believe in, spirits in the afterlife and stuff like that, because it's like those triggers. Like, it's hard to explain that otherwise. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and I feel like most of the people get into that stuff. There's such an emotional reason that they're so invested in it.
Yeah.
It's not like just a objective belief. There's an emotional reason they're so drawn to that subject.
You want to believe that a lot of times, at least from people I've talked to, they want to believe that the person that they, loved and cared about is still around, or that they'll see them again in some way. Which is, like I said, life is what you make it. You don't have to be religious to believe in an afterlife, and, just to have a hope, or, to think about stuff like that. I think that's a beautiful thing. If you don't get crazy about it, you can live your life and be a normal person and still, like I don't do it as much anymore, but like I would talk to my grandfather after he passed, and would just, say a couple things here and there, or see something that reminded me of him, and I'd, say something out loud, and it just made me feel better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
don't think there's anything wrong with that.
No, not definitely not at all. It is, it's one of those things that's difficult to explain to other people, though. Like those kind of feelings about that stuff. And I'm definitely really looking forward to when we talk about stuff in our afterlife one.
Yeah.
That'll be fun.
Yeah, that's 2 weeks.
Yeah.
2 weeks. We're gonna do a full talk about our thoughts on the afterlife. That'll be fun.
Straight to dirt.
Straight to the ground, never to be found.
Earthworms.
You're gone forever. That actually that made me realize, because I was thinking about it that episode, and I'm thinking about things I want to bring up. But I think it's worth giving its own episode too. We've talked about string theory and like the multiple universes and stuff. And then because I had to break it up in my head, like this is completely separate topics. Like black holes and my theory of how the Big Bang happened. And I think it's not a unique theory, but I have thoughts, and I haven't seen them anywhere, but I feel like other people would probably. It's probably already a thing.
Man,
but,
you think about that shit a lot.
Yeah, man, that's fun to me. I like that shit.
I think it's fun too. I just never, I never feel like I have no concern about the universe.
I think I think it's less of a concern, just a curiosity. Just an extremely strong curiosity that I still have.
But I don't know. I just kind of feel like it is. Like I don't.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
I guess I feel like it is too, because even I know that there will never be an answer in my lifetime. I think it's just fun to come up with ideas about it.
Yeah, it's definitely like a big concept puzzle.
Yeah. And
it is intriguing. I get drawn into maybe more selfish aspects of introspective thought kind of stuff.
I think that's fair too.
Yeah. Now, we've touched on this before, but do you have like much quiet time in your brain? Or like we had talked about like I have so much time stuck inside my head like everybody else, but I started like filling all of my time with external shit like podcasts, where like I don't really get stuck in my thoughts like I used to, and I feel so much healthier. Like it's changed my mental health in a lot of ways, but I sometimes have to like purposely turn off like audio shit to focus on my inner thoughts sometimes too. There's like a weird pro and con.
I typically try to take between 10 to 30 minutes when I first wake up. I don't even get out of bed yet usually, and I'm often looking at my phone or something, but I won't listen to anything or whatever then. And which is, it's important to note that I usually fall asleep listening to something that's on when I wake up, and I'll turn on something as I'm like getting ready for the day, whether it's a podcast or something, just because I like to have it, like you said, it's just having something there to focus on in the back a little bit. Not even focus on, that's not the right word. Just something there. It keeps me on track with time, and it kind of helps me just get going in the morning, get my energy right. I will turn it off as soon as I wake up and then kind of sit for a minute, but that's probably the most I do. I've thought about doing more meditation kind of stuff because I feel like it'd be helpful. My problem is if I stop and I like try to clear my mind completely, I have trouble getting into that. And because I get uncomfortable and then I want to do something. And that's, like if I think about something that I can fix or something I should write down, I'll stop and do that. And that gets me right out of it.
Yeah. I think that time in your thoughts is like, that's super important time. But for me, like, having something going keeps me out of like negative thoughts really well. That distraction.
Oh, yeah.
It keeps me from thinking about how shitty, like, I will think I'm feeling if I just have something else to focus on, music, podcast, that really fucking helps.
Yeah.
And I just think I've really found like for me to be well, I have to do more and think less. Like I have to be busy with something, like have audio going and doing something with my hands like all day, or I just like my brain gets all fucky.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you and I were talking about this last night. The idea of me doing an office job. I'm not into it because I feel myself, even as I'm sitting here, like I was working on menu stuff a minute ago before we started. And, even when we're like putting together podcast stuff, like I can focus for about like 10 to 15 solid minutes. And then I start to get antsy. And it's like, if I feel like I'm not being productive enough, like I get antsy and I want to do other stuff. And, it's not like, I don't think it's like an ADD or something kind of thing. I think it's just, I want to be physically actively doing something. And like the podcasting is great because you can see me on camera and my hands are kind of below the camera, but I talk with my hands. So like I feel like I'm actively moving and doing stuff because I'm sitting up and I'm having a conversation. So it's better and it's easier. And it makes up for that. And it feels like I'm being productive. And the audience can be the judge of whether we're doing something productive or not. But
hey, I mean, we just did our launch last week. We got like 50 something plays.
Oh, boy.
I'll take it. Dude, one of the best pieces of advice I've ever been given was from my dad. He always would say, if your mind is tired, use your body. If your body is tired, use your mind. And that, like,
oh, that's nice.
Like, I always thought that was really dumb. And I remember, like, when I started implementing it, how much it would affect me. And I just have, like, the two goals, like, every day are to improve my body and improve my mind. Like, if I haven't done both of those things, I feel like shit. Like, I need to do those things every day.
Hell yeah. No, that's extremely smart.
And it's sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, I feel like some of the best advice I'd ever been given was also from my dad. Was from your dad. No.
When did he tell you that?
So my dad told me when I was really young, and I'm sure everyone's heard it before, that's work smarter, not harder. Yeah. But, he elaborated, whatever I was real young, he's elaborated, like, whatever you're doing, if it seems like a struggle, or even if it's just a simple task, take the time, look at it, think about it first, figure out how you can do this faster and easier, figure out how you can get this done the right way instead of, putting a Band-Aid on it. And then a couple months later, you got to do it again. And then you got to do it again, stuff like that. And I mean, that it goes into, he's who I feel like I get my work ethic from, and just the way that I view it, not so much the doing it, but just the way I view work. He burned the candle at both ends all the time. And that's where I come from as well. And he's got it worse because he owns his own business. So he beats himself up when he's, if he's not out making money, like he's, holding that on to himself, like he's the only one holding him back from doing it. Right. So
it's all on you.
Yeah. So, and like, I totally understand how he feels on that. Like that's exactly how I would feel if it was me. So that's one of the things I've been trying to get better about, even in myself, is like not doing that to myself. Cause I know that he doesn't want that for me. Cause he's even told me before, like when I was young, like don't do manual labor, stay in school, get paid to think, not to do. And I feel like I've found a good median in that. So
Yeah, man, that's 100% why I went back to school, man. This last time, I really enjoy manual labor too, but I need a switch. It just, if you do it forever, it just destroys your body, and you don't get to use your mind enough. And not always, you know what I mean. And there's plenty of people that thrive with it. It's just, I just felt so beat up all the time. I needed something I can use my mind more.
You know, and when you even get into the point of doing manual labor to the point where you're making, you know, money enough that you can save for a future and retire on, you know, by the time you get to that point, you're fucking beat, you know? Yeah. So
you just lose all your time. Like my buddy I do the swimming pools with, he's a great dude, and he's like really struggling right now, and I know he feels robbed of his time because you work so hard every day outside. Even if you do all right on the money part, you know, you lose out on a lot of relationship stuff.
Right.
You don't want to go hang out at a bar or go to a show or go have dinner with somebody because you just fucking slaved all day, and it's like, you know, you're just in survival mode.
Yeah, same. I mean, like even I felt that exact thing with my work. Is like, you know, I'd finish up at, you know, wherever I was working, and I'd want to go be with people I like, and like I'd like to go sit at a bar. It sounds like fun, but like I just don't, unless it was like, you know, somewhere where someone I know is there. It's like, you know, so I'd go to like a bar I used to work at, and you know, they usually take care of me there, and I know a couple people there, and you know, it was great. Yeah. That bar closed down right before the pandemic. So even coming out of the pandemic, you know, I don't have a place to go to now. I don't have a place that's like, oh man, I can go hit up the spot or go hang out. It's like, so like to your word, you know, like listening to podcasts and stuff like that has been better for me, because I now have something afterward that I can do. It's, you know, I don't mind being alone. The isolation shit doesn't bother me at all. What's the word I'm looking for? The mentality where you recharge when you're alone. Introvert. Jesus, my brain's really shot today.
The best definition for it. You recharge alone. I'm definitely that too. I miss the fun part though. Like not even like the party stuff, but like
going to the grocery store and breathing all over people and
like I went to my buddy Sam, love you Sam, shout out.
Yeah, what's up, Sam?
We went to play his place to play Mario Party. Like, and like it felt like I hadn't done that shit in forever. And it was like why the fuck are we working jobs, or like why the fuck do we give a shit about anything except doing that? Right. You know what I mean? Like I like, especially when I was using it, I always thought of money as fun tickets, and it was this is how much fun I can buy today. And it was like, I don't know, like as long as I got enough money for food and to be like kind of okay, I would rather make less money and be with the few people I care about more. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I completely see that and agree with it. Doing your work should be something that fits the lifestyle that you want to live. It shouldn't be, you know, you work so you can have a lifestyle that you want to have. It should match during, because, you know, people work so that one day they can have this, but it's like, have this now, you know, spend time with the people you care about and do the things that you want to do now. The job that you have should work around that.
Yeah.
And like, it's easier said than done, of course. Definitely. But that's the goal.
Yeah, and you got to do what you got to do to survive. Like, no questioning that. But, but, like, I went to my buddy Sam's place to play Mario Party. Like, and we went to play his place to play Mario Party. And like it felt like I hadn't done that shit in forever. And it was like why the fuck are we working jobs, or like why the fuck do we give a shit about anything except doing that? You know what I mean? Like you got to do what you love and fuck the rest. Fuck everything else, you know?
I told myself for sure I won't take a job strictly for money anymore.
Yeah.
I won't stay with a job strictly for money anymore, at least. The last place I worked before this one, I just beat myself to shit. But the money was great.
Yeah.
I was probably the highest paid person there, even though I wasn't the highest on the food chain, just because of how many hours I was working. And I was an hourly employee. So I got, I saved up a decent amount of money, but even, I had 1 day off a week, and it would happen to be the same 1 day off that my girlfriend at the time had off. So we would try to make plans on those days, but sometimes we would, we'd go out
tired.
and we'd just fucking crash, she's sleeping in and I want to sleep in. And then, we get together around we weren't staying together. So we get together around noon or 1. And then, we might go somewhere and get coffee or something, and then go back to someone's house and watch something on TV. And then we both pass out on the couch for a couple hours, and then it's time to go home.
Right.
And I was like, fuck this, it just fucking sucked.
Yeah, man. It's I think it's pretty interesting. You're in Detroit and I'm in Cincinnati, and we somehow we're doing a podcast and finding time to hang out regular. We're both busy as shit. There's so many people that are so much closer geographically, and it's why the fuck aren't we making time? I've been trying to get my fucking cousin out of his house for 5 months now. I need to see this dude, and I know he's got heavy shit going on, and I want to see him. He lives 2 minutes away, and I'm like, dude, just drive over here. What are we doing?
Right.
Oh man, I love him to death. Just come over, man. Let's hang out.
Right. I mean, I've told you in the past, we talked to David not long ago, and we were talking about how I'm just the worst at keeping in touch with people. I'm really bad at it. It's not, just something I think, it's not that I don't think about people. I think about them, but it's in the worst opportune moments. I'm at work and I think about oh, my boy David, or oh, I should text my dad. And I'm just really bad at it. And, so I'll reach out every now and then. I'm thankful that, the people that I care about, of course, they're in the same boat. It's a two-way street, but it's the, they understand. It's time fucking slips away from you. And even though you got a brick in your pocket, you can call someone with, it's still, still hard to remember to do that sometimes. So
it matters so much though.
Yeah. Just getting that one text every now and then, man, it just makes a difference. It really just means a little something.
Definitely. All right. What about fun stuff?
Fun stuff.
Going on?
Oh, we actually want to have fun today?
We'll try.
Okay. Well, fuck. I'm considering getting a Switch. That's pretty fun. Yeah.
It doesn't draw me in. I think it's cool. But...
It didn't for the longest time, but now my cousin has one, and I've been playing with him and my nieces. And it's funny you said something about playing Mario Party, because we were just playing Mario Party, and it's good. It's really good. And I didn't realize that when you get a Switch, when you get their online service or whatever, you have access to all the old Nintendo games.
Yeah,
it's
buddy.
Fuck, man, that's what I want. That's I could, that alone pays for a decent amount of the cost of, having that. I know there's emulators and shit. I don't want to fuck with that. I haven't had a lot of success with that. I got Star Fox 64 emulated on my computer.
I used to have them all all the emulators back before it was a normal thing.
Oh, that hipster shit, boy.
Yeah, it felt super cool. And now it's fuck, anybody can get it.
Get that Raspberry Pi or whatever the fuck.
Yep. So I was gonna try to find a smoother way to bring this up.
No, man, hard right turn. Let's go.
All right, what's going on with Pornhub? Do you know the deal?
The deal with Pornhub?
Dude, they're fucked. It's fucked up.
No, I don't know what happened.
So
have they always been fucked, or did this just happen?
No, it happened like a month and a half ago, and I'm mostly joking, but honestly, it is a for real problem because all right, so Pornhub, they basically were getting blackballed. There's news articles on it by the credit card companies because I believe it was the Mormons. It was a Christian group where basically lobbying about how bad porn is, that the credit card companies should not be ethically allowed to take charges from Pornhub. So the credit card companies said they were cutting them off unless they made these changes. And then I believe there was legislation addressing it put forth. And now like all porn going to Pornhub is only by verified content creators, and everything it goes through like facial imaging or digital fingerprint stuff through the feds. So there's like no like amateur compilation shit. It's all like only official porn. So all their shit's gone, and it's because of Christian lobbying. And that sounds like no big deal, but it is a for real problem because it's pushed all the like really fucked up shit is going to be pushed underground. Because in the past, people that were like doing revenge porn or fucked up shit, like they might, or like kid shit, like they might put it on Pornhub, but they're very likely to get busted. And instead, we have like a Christian approved version of Pornhub that is doing it in good faith, but right. It also means everything's going dark web, and there's going to be all these other problems because
it's going to be more hidden, so these people will be harder to catch.
Yeah, and
doing crazy shit.
And we're letting churches dictate what credit card companies are morally able to accept payment from.
Yeah, that's absolutely fucked up. Yeah. That's
like it's the whole precedent of it. I don't really give a shit about the like cool porn being going on, whatever, which still sucks, but it's fucked up that this shit's being determined by religious lobbying.
So are you telling me I'm not going to be able to get hentai anymore?
Legit, most of it is gone.
That's fucked up. So here's the thing. While we were looking at, while we were talking about this, I brought this up because this is actually really funny because I was just talking to someone about Pornhub the other day. We were talking about how they have like their analysis that they drop of like all the like data of like how much was uploaded and how much was downloaded and
how much like higher Florida shit was.
Yeah. So This is from 2019's data. The most searched for terms, hentai came in second. I thought that was interesting.
Wow.
It's a second. I'll give you. Let's play a game. You can guess what was number one.
Big tits.
Japanese.
That was number one.
Japanese is number one in 2019.
That's kind of scary.
Let's play this one. Where do you think the term lesbian shows up in the top 10? You know, it's not the top 2.
Like 4 or 5.
It's actually number 3.
I believe that for sure.
Followed by MILF, Korean, and then Asian.
That's kind of wild. Like I believe that to be the popular terms, but I'm surprised it's that high up.
Can we talk about what's after Asian though?
What?
Stepmom.
Dude, that's also weird. But like
the stepmom, then stepdad and stepbrother shit. That's all fucking weird. Quit. It's like, you guys stop it.
Honestly, there can be some fun in it, but it's like
you guys fucking stop. Let me just watch these two people bang. I don't need to pretend that they're brother and sister. That's fucking weird. Quit. I don't want the backstory part. Just get to the fucking
they push all the weird that I don't know. It's weird. But unrelated, have you Googled Trash Cat's Trash Cast yet? Did I send you the latest?
No.
Oh my god.
Oh, what's the latest? Just tell me the latest.
It's just
I know that we're the first thing that comes up when you type in Seinfeld banjo. That's pretty awesome.
Dude, I felt so good about that. I felt so good.
That's going to be someone hits that niche search for whatever fucking reason.
I was looking up Seinfeld's banjos and I found this Trash Cat.
There was a reference. There's a quote that also came up, so that might lead people to, check it. But
what quote was it?
There's some dumb shit Kramer said, I think.
Oh, yeah, dude. The internet's cool as shit, and I definitely this is still new as fuck. But anybody that's shown us support or check this out, definitely. John, Chaotic Steel, you rock, dude. Appreciate you sharing stuff. Like anybody that's doing that, it's fucking awesome. But dude, do you see these results?
Yeah, man.
How fucking good is that?
That's really good.
Like, I've never had anything I've made intentionally have good Google results before. And
the good thing of all the things that could have come up with that search, only 358 results.
Yeah.
I think that's impressive.
Yeah, it means we'll actually be able to do well with that Google.
Right.
Dude, what about all the stonk shit? Like, the fucking internet is rad, dude.
Yeah, man. You heard it here. Yeah, fuck, I just fucked that one up. You heard it here first, folks. The internet fucking rules.
Dude, for real, though. Like, man, when people come together, like, there's something special about the internet, and it's fucked how much shit has changed. Like, I do think the Wild West aspect of it, there is some decay of what's going on.
Oh yeah,
with regulation for sure. But the internet is the fucking best.
Within any place where people can commune and organize. Mostly anonymously, you're going to have a lot of problems that come out of that too. But yeah, absolutely. The shit that Reddit's keeping it real. Did you see they had a Super Bowl ad? It was like a 5 seconds screenshot, and it came out and it basically said, like, look what people can do when they get together and talk about things. And it was just an ad spot for Reddit. It was, it was a 5 second screen, still. And if you paused it, because people record the Super Bowl and dumb shit. Yeah. If you paused it, you could go back and look at it and read it. And, it was a cool message.
Definitely. Dude, have you seen, I don't fucking give a shit about football, but
no.
Tom Brady is he had a mega hat in his locker while he won his 7th Super Bowl ring.
I believe it.
What a fucking douche. But, dude, what was the other internet thing? Oh, I'm doing college degree shit, all my fucking art, music, podcast, and I'm sending emails to doctors with the subject line heroin. And it's fucking internet. It's so beautiful. It's so good, man.
Just think of to do any of those things, to publicize data of any type, whether media of any type, or to communicate with people, 40 years ago, how difficult, really 30 years ago, but how difficult that would be compared to the shit that we can do now. I think have you ever been asked if you could pick a particular time in all the time, where would you want to go? And I think all the time about Native America before the white man came. I think would be some wild shit.
That's a pretty good pick, man. I like that.
It was my grandpa that first said that to me. I was like, it's kind of hard to tell because the face of what Native American culture was. It was written by white people. So, or at least what's instructed to people in public schools and, in modern culture was written by white people. So it's kind of hard to know what's real and what's not. But man, I think that would be a wild ass time. And I don't know. I feel like that would be great, but to not have, all this access to information and, shit, man, that's a hard bargain to not have the crazy shit that we have access to.
Imagine have to wait months and months and months to have a letter arrive.
Right? Someone shows up with it. If they show up with it, if they survive the trip.
Dude, all right. I don't want to bring him up all the time, but one of the latest episodes of Rogan, regardless of what you think of him, dude, you have to listen to this episode on Francis Ngannou. I feel bad. I'm probably not doing his name right. But this dude is about to fight the UFC heavyweight championship. And I don't know how much you're into UFC stuff or fighting, but the last couple years I've been getting pretty heavy into it. I try to watch most of the current shit. I definitely don't know my shit the best, but dude, this dude's story is one of the most inspirational. Like I said, whatever you think of Rogan, whatever, fuck him. But this dude's story is one of the most beautiful, inspirational shit I've ever heard. He spent a year. He worked in sand mines in Cameroon as a kid, and he spent a year escaping to the U.S. 20 different tries through barbed wire and rafts and shit, being detained in all these different countries over and over again, nearly dying to get to the U.S. And then he gets here and he's homeless, living in the parking lot of his gym, working at a feed the homeless place, in part so he could eat. And the people at the gym would take care of him. And he had no true background or training. And over a year, 2 years or whatever, he's fighting in the UFC heavyweight. Maybe I might be wrong on that timeline to the championship, but this dude he's a fucking beast. And it's just the craziest story I had ever heard. You hear people who make these raft trips or are trying to get to a better place. And it's I can't imagine trying to face him as an opponent, because you're this dude has been through.
Yeah, he doesn't know quit. He doesn't know stop here. This is not where he stops.
My problems would feel so trivial.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Dude's just a beast. I just love hearing his story. I don't know.
Yeah, I got his name set on my phone. I'm gonna have to Google that later.
Dude, it's inspirational.
I also want to say, our first, if we ever come out with t-shirts, when we eventually make t-shirts, at least for you and I, it's going to say Trash Cats Trash Cast. We probably got that name wrong.
Dude, I'm terrible at pronunciation.
Oh, same. No, I'm really bad. I think I told you I can't. I tried to do Duolingo and try to learn French, but it wouldn't accept my voice. I felt like I did good. I was stuck. I did really good through all the rest of it, and then it gets to a point where it's all right, now you have to actually pronounce it, and we're going to hear you and tell you if it's wrong. And so I was like, garçon, and it's no, that ain't right. Garçon, nah, that ain't right.
Did you take any foreign language?
I did. Okay, so check this out. SCPA used to have Mandarin Chinese when I was in 7th grade. So
I remember that, and I was very surprised by that.
Yeah.
That's wild.
So that was they had it for the 1 year, and then they dropped it because there's nobody in it, which was some bullshit, because I really enjoyed it, and I was actually learning it then. And if I had stuck with it throughout the rest of the, my high school curriculum, I would know Mandarin Chinese today.
But that's such a hard language with so many different dialects.
Yeah, and it's fucked up because the thing that makes it really hard, at least in my mind, is like each syllable changes based on the inflection you put on it. So just ma can mean so many different things based on how the inflection you put on it. There's 4 different types of inflections you can use, and they have different meanings. And like that's like the character writing and stuff like that. That wasn't that hard to figure out. You can pick that up eventually. But the inflections in your voice can make such a, strong meaning. So like when it's broken Chinese is going to sound way worse than someone with broken English.
It's pretty wild. I would feel very intimidated by that. I took Spanish and German, and my brain does not click with language shit.
I took German in from kindergarten to 3rd grade. I went to Fairview.
Yeah.
And that's a German bilingual. You have to take German there, but it's kindergarten through 6th grade. And I did that. So Inspiration ein bisschen Deutsch, and that's all I know. That's all I remember.
It's more than me. I know random words, but
Spanish, I got off easy because I was in a group of a bunch of shitheads in Spanish 2. And I joined Spanish club because my girlfriend at the time was in Spanish club, and we would help grade papers and do projects and stuff like that. So I got extra credit for a bunch of stuff and ended up passing, even though our teacher never really got a chance to teach us everything that she was supposed to. Like I picked up whatever she could get out to us, but because people caused so much trouble in the class, it made it hard.
That's the best.
But to this day, what I really remember was my grandpa made sure, because they would go to Spanish speaking countries all the time. He told me the 2 things you need to remember are donde es un baño, where's the bathroom, and uno más cerveza por favor. There's one more beer, please.
That's pretty good advice. That's definitely the best you could ask for if you're at a bar. That's for sure. Yeah. Man, my German teacher, he had been at this school for like 30 years, and he was my uncles had him, and he was the biggest asshole I've ever met as a teacher. But it was funny because he was narcoleptic. And
wow.
Dude, he would have to stand because as soon as he'd sit down, he'd be unconscious.
Wow.
But then he'd wake up like in our asshole rage, just raging all dude would talk about his shotgun in class.
Jesus fuck.
Dude,
what school was this at?
This is at St. X.
Jesus.
He was an asshole. I don't know how they let him get by. He had been there for so fucking long. God, that school, dude, I hated it so much. It was so bad. I hated it.
We had Mr. Turner for history. I think it had to have been 8th grade, because we were real shitheads by then, and me and David were in the same class, which was already a problem. We didn't disrupt, outwardly fuck around, but other people did all the time, and it dude fucking hated us. But we come into class and how you do when you show up and you're talking to each other in your seats and whatever, and then the bell would ring and we'd just still be talking, and he would wait. I remember one day in particular, he waited 5-6 minutes, and we were all just talking and bullshitting back and forth, and he just stood up in front of the class, and everyone's still talking and whatever. So he takes a textbook and he slams it on the ground.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
You all are the loser group. Which, doesn't feel good to hear, but it was true. But he was, partially deaf. I'm not sure if it was prescribed. Not prescribed. That's not the right word. But he definitely had some hearing issues. So we would just in the middle of tests would like tell each other the answers and not get caught. And like, you know, just talk about other shit. But as long as we were quiet about it, we got away with it. Yeah, we did some fucking around in that class.
Dude, I was an expert cheater. And this was before, like, I mean, cell phones were definitely a thing in high school, but at least the like freshman, sophomore year, I know I didn't have a phone.
Yeah, and you weren't going on the internet. If you're going on the internet
right.
with it, you know, you're loading up a web page on a flip phone. And
10 minutes.
Yeah, it takes for fucking ever to load up a JPEG.
Right. So maybe you could text somebody from answers.
Yeah.
But I was an expert cheater. I had systems, bro. Systems.
Elaborate, please.
One of my favorites.
Tell the young people of the world
how to cheat. One of my favorites was the water bottles with the answers on the inside of the label.
Oh yeah,
that's perfect. I definitely did the leg stuff a lot, like the teenage girl shit, like on my thighs.
Yeah,
because it's like, what are you gonna do? Like. I just be like looking down my pants and shit. Like, what the fuck's a teacher gonna do? You know what I mean? I hid shit. I always had things in my sweatshirts. I had all kinds of shit on me.
Yeah, always had to have pockets.
I had like pills, razors, cheat codes for tests, whatever I needed that day.
Cheat codes for GoldenEye, you know.
Dude, at SCPA, I remember the locker next to me was abandoned. There was like no one had it. So like there were days I, you know, go to school, be walking in, and I would take the side off the the neighboring locker and put a pistol in the locker next to mine. Lock it up. Boop, 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 boop. It was like, dude, there were some things going down in those lockers.
Yeah, for sure.
So gnarly. I remember like bringing people that didn't go to school into the school.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
A lot.
That happened. At lunchtime, we could just go wherever the fuck we wanted, basically. No one's watching. You know, they had one person watching, you know.
Big Mama.
Yeah, fucking Big Mama. Yep, just walk right fucking through.
You just pay her in cigarettes, and then she.
See, I'd never been given that one. We walked right past. It wasn't even Big Mama. It was, oh man, the fucking giant motherfucker. With the shaved head.
He was cool though.
Yeah, he was super. Deal? He was super chill. He'd be sitting at like the front desk, and you know, like we just walk up, like, hey, left my book in my car. I gotta go get it, and then he's like, you know, smoke one for me too. You know, it's like he already knows you're gonna go smoke a cigarette, you know, or skip. He's like, just make sure you come back, and it's like, all right.
It was so cool because by the end of it, you know, like they were moving locations, so it was like just a total free for all.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
And then fucking who was it? Mr. Riley? Mr. Riley was the one he'd always try to get on your ass, but like, what's he gonna do? Chase you?
Oh man, dude, I was so pissed that they made me graduate. Like I'm honestly very grateful I don't know if grateful is the right word. I appreciate.
You're glad you did it.
I'm glad I did it, but yeah, they made me finish because our graduating class was so low. Like, so many people were expelled and or gone. You know what I mean? Like, there was just such a.
Y'all had that whole shit go down. What was it? Was it senior prom? There's a whole bunch of bullshit that went down there. I remember hearing that.
I don't even remember.
It was one of the proms.
Somebody was pregnant.
No, I was something about people that were like honor roll students that were like found in the bathroom, like in, you know, a puddle of their own puke and shit. Like,
it was a lot.
People getting all fucked up, you know, high on ecstasy and shit. And
well, that's what happens. They had to kick so many people out for drug shit. Basically, by the end of the year, it was like a third of the class. Like, it was weird.
That's wild.
And yeah, it was weird. It was really weird. So like, they told me I had to graduate. Like I tried to drop
school
out.
Got funding next year.
Something like that. I tried to drop out like a week before the end of school because I finally turned 18. And they're like, if you drop out, we'll take you to court for other random shit.
Damn.
For that
pistola in the locker, dog.
It was something. They're like, it was like inciting violence or something. It was dumb shit. But like I didn't want to fuck with people. I was mainly just trying to be left alone. But I hadn't had any problems with them previously. Yeah. But I guess like a lot of people had said things where they're like, if you don't, go to school this last week, we're taking you to court.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's fucking wild right there.
It was weird. It was not the reaction I thought I was going to get. I know drop out of high school. They
usually had a good record too of like,
right.
That was always the thing, and it kind of I thought it was stupid. So like, if 100% of this class graduates, that's like 90 students. Where at Walnut Hills, if 75% of their students graduate, it's like 300 something or whatever the fuck it was. It was so much more. It's like so
they could have
the percentage. Yeah, the percentage of funding was so much higher because it's just the numbers, and it was like, but like there's results here in a percentage wise. It's like do you see this, right? Like there needs to be more funding going into here for different cool shit that we could do, arts programs and shit.
Yeah, damn lies, and statistics, right?
Goddamn right. It's the man trying to keep us down. Us two white boys in America trying to keep us down.
Oh, shit. So, what else? What else is going through your head? Shit.
In this very moment, I was just adjusting my pants, and I realized how much I love wintertime because it's the only time where I can layer pajamas underneath all of my clothes.
See, I love the layers, dude. Like, sweatshirts are my favorite.
Yeah, I think it's rare that I've seen you outside of a sweatshirt.
It probably is kind of, well, also except the summer, but because all summer I'm normally in work mode. But like,
true.
Throughout the rest of the year, anytime I can wear a sweatshirt, I'm wearing a sweatshirt.
Yeah,
it feels so comfy. It's just it's a hug you get to wear around all day.
Yeah, I started exclusively only buying like double XL sweatshirts for that reason. It's like I got a couple of them I wear to work, but most of the time it's just for like comfort around the house. And I should have one on now. My arms are cold. I'm sitting here in a t-shirt, fucking dying.
With your teeth chattering, I can see your breath, that icicle thing. Dude, I cannot wait for that cat. I'm so excited for a cat.
Yeah, I got a new picture today. I'll send it your way.
Send it my way.
Yeah, fuck, I'm gonna send it right now. Fuck it. This is our podcast. We can do what we want. If we want to stop and take a break, and I'm going to send you a picture of this kitten, this damn pretty Skippy. Little kitten.
I can't wait to see how her coat comes in.
It's already starting to in this photo. You can see some of the colors popping.
Dude, I knew she was going to be beautiful the moment I laid my eyes on her.
Mm-hmm.
I've missed... Sarah's cat played with me today.
Nice.
That's a rare
thing. That's a win.
Dude. I had to give her treats and then give her a toy and then give her catnip, and then she played with me for a while too.
Look at this gorgeous little just barely opening its eyes.
Dude, do you think her eyes are blue?
Well, they usually most cats start off with blue eyes. They can change.
Is that true?
Yeah, that's a thing.
I did not know that.
That's at least a common thing.
Because I don't think I've seen a calico like that with blue eyes.
Yeah.
Oh, she's going to be gorgeous.
I mean, it's definitely not outside the realm of possibility, but...
Yeah. Now, what do you think of the orange cats? I'm not a fan. They look like Cheeto Puffs.
Usually, yeah, I usually not, but these ones are really cute. The mom's really cute, and she's where the orange comes from.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm looking forward. My mom's gonna get one of the orange ones.
Is she?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, that's awesome.
Have,
so
we have little brothers and sisters. And actually, these ones are would be the nieces and nephews to my cat.
How will your cat deal with them though? Do you think it'll be tough?
I think she'll be fine.
Really?
I think she'll be a little bit jealous when it gets older, but by the time that it gets that way, she'll have connected to it. Like even when, so my dad got a new cat not too long ago and brought it up.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. So when the cat was really young, she reacted really well to it. And she was like, super nurturing and like would kind of submit to her so they could play. And so she wasn't scared of her. And then, they were here for a week or so and then they left. So then they came back several months later and the cat was much bigger. Still not as big as mine, but she was much bigger. And my cat was definitely, she seemed like she was open to the idea, but she definitely saw her as a threat now. So, with it being smaller and getting attached to it, I don't think it's going to be an issue. She definitely took over a more loving, motherly kind of role. So I'm expecting to see the same.
Good. Dude, it's amazing how much cats specifically, but pets in general, just, having an animal to care for and care for you back. So fucking good, dude.
Oh yeah, it's absolutely healing.
That's what it's all about.
Just before we started recording here, my cat was all up in my lap and rubbing her face on my chest and kind of pushing into me and purring, and like that's just healing. Or even just to have a face that when I come home, she's there and she comes out and greets me and stretches at me and licks herself and just come over and say hi. And
we're trying to keep our fishes dying. It's been
like the way that sentence came out was you're trying to keep your fishes dying.
No, I'm trying to keep this beta fish alive, but I think it's gonna go.
Oh.
It's like you don't know with fish when you should just flush them or bury them. You know what I mean?
But what's the humane thing to do?
Yeah, I think he might come back though.
How long have you had him?
Like 2.5 years, something like that.
Wow,
a while. He's a pretty good fish. It's a guy, but we named him Melanie after one of my professors because she would do these videos teaching coding shit, and she would drop her books or like forget things all the time and talk about how like derpy she was, and this fish was extra derpy, so
nice.
we named the fish after her. But yeah, I think it's his time.
How long do they usually live for? I don't know shit about
fish. They can
fish.
go a while. I want to get a goldfish next time because like koi fish are like 10,000, like can go up to like $10,000.
Yeah.
Goldfish look almost the exact same.
Yeah.
Like they grow to their container shit, so it's like they have these patterns and stuff that you don't think would develop until they get way bigger, and they're so beautiful, man.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of really pretty, with the dark orange and the black, splotches on them and shit, and
yeah,
they have a lot of interesting, cool designs with like the big bubbles up under the eyes and shit. And
the people I do, my aunt and uncle that I do the landscaping stuff for, they've got a bunch of property, and it's my favorite place ever to work. Like they have this like little pond set up, but it's probably got like it's not huge, but it's pretty big. It's like at least 30 feet across, like man-made pond stuff, and there's probably like 50 koi-sized goldfish, and like I'd have to keep the blue heron come in.
oh wow,
swoop them up. So
Yeah.
like certain times a year, I have to go over there and like put up nets and shit, or like protect the pond. And there's always deer and stuff, and like there were times like a deer would die, and you would see like the whole life cycle of other animals, like the body decay, and insects eat it, flowers would bloom where it was, like that kind of shit. But like these deer, it's funny, dude, like all the vape flavors I fuck with are like super fruity candy shit, and the deer are attracted to it.
Oh, really?
Dude, they love it. Like
That's crazy.
If I'd be hidden my stuff and they're downhill, sometimes these deer would come up to me. But I have a thing with deers, man. Like animals in general, I have a connection. Like you've seen my I have an animal shit on my chest.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I can be the animal. And I've touched a deer.
Oh, that's wild.
Like they will trust me.
The doe?
Yeah.
Nice. I had a run-in with a buck one time.
Do tell. That sounds scary as shit.
It was in high school, and I was waiting. David was still at school. He was doing like not choir, but like Meridian 8, I think.
Yeah.
So I was waiting for him, and I think some other person we hung out with. Anyways, I was in the woods in Stanberry. That Stanberry tree, and it was after it had fallen over. So we were I'm sitting on the tree. I was by myself, and probably smoking a bowl or something stupid.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I kind of hear, rustling behind me. So I turn over and I look, and sure enough, it's this big fucking deer, and he's probably 40 yards away or something. And it's like, okay, cool. I'm up on this tree. I feel like I'm like high enough that I'm not like moving and around. I'm not like, don't seem like a threat.
Not immediate danger.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm just chilling, and I'm kind of staring him down a little bit out of the corner of my eyes. I don't want to like beam at him.
Right. So
I'm like kind of looking at him. He gets closer, just a little bit closer, and then picks his head back up, looks at me. And I'm just kind of chilling, trying not to look like I'm staring him down, but I'm just paying and kind of looking around the tree, seeing like where's the highest point that I can get to and be cool. Cause I don't know. I don't remember what season it was. I think it was like end of spring-ish. So I assume that's like mating season. I don't know when they get like aggressive or whatever. So he gets close. He's like within 20 feet of me. Wow. That's the closest he got. And I'm at this point, I'm standing up on the tree because I guess I gotta, intimidate him or, not have him not rush me. Like, I don't know. I've never been close to I didn't know what the fuck to do. So I'm like, okay, I'm just going to stand up, and I'm fucking staring him right in the eyes. And like, big fucking look like the Jägermeister deer. Like, I don't know how many, points he had, but there was a lot. And I stared him down. It felt like for forever. Couldn't have been that long. But he finally kind of takes off, and he turns around, and not turns around, but like starts going along this way. And then he fucking bolts. And it was like, okay, that was wild. And no one was here. It was just this moment that I had with this animal.
Dude.
And it wasn't like, it didn't feel bad. I was a little scared, of course. Because I figured, I knew he could definitely fuck me up, and he could definitely chase me down. So.
Definitely. Dude, those horns are.
He decided
were the horns big?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, he was not young.
Dude, that reminded me of two different things to bring you to. The first, have you heard this? Like, animals with horns, particularly deers and stuff, like that shit's basically bone cancer.
Really?
that's basically a form of bone cancer, and that's like their tumor formation.
It's like a hereditary cancer.
They don't like call it cancer, but it's the same thing.
Oh, it's a buildup of cells that.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
They say it's very, very similar to bone cancer and how it builds them.
That's actually really interesting, because I went to the Mutter Museum when I was younger, and it's the medical oddity museum, and there's one of the things was there's a preserved head, and it was the unicorn or whatever, but it was a guy that had a tumorous horn that kind of came out of his head.
Dude, that's so cool. That museum was, well, all right. So sorry. Dude, no, you're good. It's so cool because it's like they defeat cancer every year. They shed new horns, and they turn their tumors basically into a weapon.
Yeah.
It's like that tear gun the tear gun, teardrop gun art thing we were talking. This chick made this art installation that was almost like a cyberpunkish cosplay looking thing.
Yeah.
But it was like a form of tubing that went from her tear ducts into like a handgun that would freeze the tear and then shoot it. And it was a way to use her pain as a weapon kind of thing. Beautiful concept.
Yeah.
Have you seen the Okapi? Okapi?
It's I always call them Okapis.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about though.
They got the unicorn horn.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're like a zebra, giraffe, deer looking thing. So weird.
They have those at the Cincinnati Zoo.
I have not seen them there. I need to go there. We went there this last year. Had such a the spotted dogs, bro. Beautiful. Beautiful.
Do you follow the Cincinnati Zoo on Instagram?
I have before. I don't think I currently am.
You absolutely need to. They have the best zoo Instagram ever. Everybody, go look up Cincinnati Zoo.
Fuck yeah.
It's just the kick-ass pictures they have and some of the facts and stuff they have. Think what you will about zoos. Like when they're
Animal
done
prison.
right, when they're done well, they're fantastic for helping to breed animals that could be going out extinct or helping animals that need rehabilitation. And Cincinnati Zoo is known as one of the best, at least in the country, at what it does. They bred a Sumatran rhino that was like the first to be born in 500 years in captivity, and they just had the baby rhino about 4 months ago, a Johnny Joe.
I have mixed. Logically, I think zoos are good, but emotionally, I don't know, man. It feels weird. I feel like there's just like I fucking love going there too.
Yeah,
like
if it's
I just have mixed feelings.
If it's done well, and you can tell when the animal's not happy.
For sure.
There's a place in Florida, a wildlife preserve that was just like some of the animals there were fine because they have what they need in that area, but like some of them were like they had 3 bald eagles and they were like injured and they couldn't fly right. They were all injured in some way or another. So,
they have that,
but they had such a small area for them, and you can just see they're just eagles look pissed anyway, but you could just tell they were lackluster and they were unhappy. Or like even at the Cincinnati Zoo, they had the whole eagle like side of the fucking park, and you'd never see them because they're way up in their fucking nest, unless they were coming out to eat.
They also have a small area for the broken ones.
Oh yeah. Oh, you're right. Because the last time I was there, there was a little thing by the near the restrooms. Yeah.
Yeah. I just have mixed feelings. I think They probably do. A lot of them probably do more good than bad, but it's just like a emotional, visceral thing, you know.
I would say most of them do more bad than good, but the few,
yeah.
the few that are decent.
Yeah. So I heard this theory a long time ago from, speaking of people we miss, this is a person I miss very much, but his theory was, this sounds so dumb, but it's always stuck with me. This dude was a very wise man. Is a very wise man, sorry. But he had this theory that, you know, like we always see animals like deer and shit when we're driving, and it's like they always come out of nowhere and you hit them while you're driving, kind of thing. And such a brilliant but simple thing, this probably sounds stupid, but was that the idea like the animal was there waiting to cross the road and your light showed them the other way across.
Oh, yeah.
It's so simple.
Yeah.
It's so simple. It makes so much sense, though.
Yeah.
Like these animals are scared. Yeah, they're scared to cross. This dude, it's not the best example, but he had such a brilliant mind that worked in a different way. And he had like lots of mental health stuff going on, like some voice kind of shit. But he could like look at people and read things about them I could never see based off like their face or their bone structure or like how their eyes moved, and like none of that bone structure like weird shit, but just like he understood people. Like he could really look at people and understand them more than anyone I've ever met. And he would sit in a circle and he would have 10 different books around him. And he'd read one page of each book and turn, sitting Indian style. And and they would be like almanacs on different birds or like real specific technical writing. And he would remember everything.
That's a whole different galaxy brain shit.
Dude, I've never met a person with a mind like that. It was
high functioning on such a different level.
Yeah, but on such a different level, it was like he almost wasn't present where he was because he was just in his thoughts. Like,
yeah,
he would talk to himself constantly. I mean, he did have like some real problems, but I feel like more he was misunderstood because he was like, I think people would think he was confused a lot, and it was like, this dude's functioning on a level I don't understand.
Yeah,
you know?
It's not that he's confused; he's just focused on different shit.
Yeah, dude. Oh man,
I've said for a while now, and this, I mean, someone's might feel that I'm completely off base in thinking this, but I feel like autism and within that spectrum it's. I don't want to use the word gift. I don't think that's right, but it's evolutionary, especially when, with high functioning, autism, people that have the savant kind of thing. It's like they have such a strength and a focus on one thing, or, the way that their brain works. It's not wrong. There's nothing broken about it. It's just different. They see things they can see things from a different perspective than, most other people because, they just have a different, way of thinking about it. And I think, the people that think about it like it's, like a handicap, it's like, that's fucked up. You don't, like they might have things like, sensory, issues or, processing issues, like stuff like that, might give them a handicap in certain situations, but I don't think it's right to call that a handicap.
I totally get what you're saying, because I feel like there's something, I don't know the right adjective, something very beautiful about people with different minds. I do think with certain things like that, I think there are times where it genuinely is a disability, and there are times where it is something special in a different way.
It's a quote that someone said was like, you can't, it's disabling them to work within these parameters of what our society is. That doesn't mean that they're not able to function. They're just not able to function in our society as well as what we do, because our society is based around, our mentality and our minds and how our minds work. So, it's not set up for them to thrive in those conditions. And it's definitely, in that way, absolutely, it is a disability for, some people that have, stronger effects or stronger, I guess effects would probably be the best word I can think of. Different things that make their mind work differently, that they, you know what I'm trying to say.
I do.
Yeah.
And I what I always think is very amazing is how well people that are different can read emotions. Like, there's something so emotional about the interactions. And I always kind of like what you're saying, like, it's the same thing with, like, old people. Like, it's fucked up if you just treat them stupid.
Right.
Opposed, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know it.
Yeah.
It's a hard conversation.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I was going to say, there's so many things, because, like, I don't want people to think in any way that I'm, pitying people, or I'm, saying there's anything wrong with them, but I also don't want them, want people to think that I'm making light of the subject, because, or I'm saying, oh, there's nothing wrong with them. They
Right.
don't, deserve special treatment. It's not about that. I think it's, that acknowledging that there's more to it than what people, see it as from an outside perspective. And like you're saying, like, with people with, like, Alzheimer's and stuff, it's like, you can't, like, it's not their fault, they don't, yeah, exactly. You have to work with them, because they don't have a choice here, work with it. Have you watched, I think it was like Spectrum of Love?
No,
Love on the
you told me.
Spectrum.
I've heard about it. I've heard really good things.
Yeah,
too.
there are definitely some times where it's kind of hard to watch, because you're, it's mostly young people, and they're, like, going into these, dates, and sometimes it's like the first date they've ever been on, and you're like, oh my God, like, you feel the cringe, because you can put yourself in those scenarios, and, like, you see yourself like, oh no, dude, no, don't fucking, talk about your, anime collection or whatever the fuck it was. It's like, you don't bring that up yet, goofy shit like that. And it's like, they don't, it's not on that level with them. So I thought it was really, definitely eye-opening, really sweet, really, heartening. It's a good watch.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna check it out. All right, well, that leads me to a dot. So my mom was telling me recently. It was actually, this was a weird conversation. I haven't had a conversation with my mom about some of these things much, but we were talking about my friend who I call my brother, who killed himself. This was like 10 years ago. We were talking about him, and somehow it led to this other girl in the local community. She had killed herself, and her parents had said she wasn't made for this world, kind of thing. Wow. And my mom previously did, she did social work and stuff, and she had very mixed feelings about that phrase, whether it's people with that kill themselves, suicide, Alzheimer's, disability shit. Like, do you think there are people that aren't made for this world, or is that like too? Because I have very mixed feelings, because I've often felt like I'm not for this world, but it's almost like a bad excuse to let someone go in a way too.
I have two answers to that, and the first one's a joke answer. And it's people with peanut allergies are not made for this world. You weren't.
Dude,
they weren't
you
supposed
can
to
fix peanut allergy.
They weren't.
Peanut
They weren't
allergies.
They weren't supposed to survive the first winter. Yeah, we talked about that, but it's a joke that we talk about at work because our restaurant caters severely to people with a lot of different allergies and stuff like that.
There's an actual prescription pill now.
Yeah. You and I talked about that a while ago. I don't think it was on a recording, but we did talk about it.
On a test recording.
Yeah, probably.
Way back in the day before we were famous.
In the before time, before everybody knew who we were.
Those dark days.
But the other answer I was going to say was, I think that there's definitely a feeling of like who is made for this world. Like if you get into that, like I feel like
God, that's dark quick, isn't it?
I feel like as a species, as a life entirely for any life, it's I think it circles back to what I was saying, like what's the meaning of it, like why are we here? And my dad growing up, always told me like, well, the meaning of life is to procreate and keep, putting on your species and your gene, and you keep, excelling. Like that's what bacteria does. The most single, at the smallest form of life, that's what it does, is just accelerate itself and continue to create more. So if that's the meaning of, like, that's the reason we're here, that's not the meaning, but that's the reason we're here. Is that we, a single-celled organism spiraled out of control and evolved, and that leads to today where we can have thoughts like we are not of this world. I think that could have two different implications. One being that you are better unto another world, or you are from another world. Mm-hmm. Which, within multiple dimensional theory, you could get into concepts like that. Or in a different sense of like a time thing of like, I've definitely felt like this is the wrong time for me to be alive. Like we were saying earlier, something like that, I felt, even in like the, 40s, 50s, I feel like a weird pull with that. But, I feel like that would suck so bad. But the birth of so many wild things, especially in this country, post-war, nuclear family, nuclear America, how, white picket fence and the, cars and the, ice cream social shops and shit like that. And it's like a weird bubble of a weird time period where I was like, man, that's like, it feels like it was so carefree, for white people. But, it feels like I guess an atmosphere that I feel like I could resonate with growing up. I kind of felt that. And then I learned how fucked up and prejudiced shit was. But
I get the sentiment what you're saying. I feel like I don't know. I feel like that phrase is it comes with like to not be made for this world. It just has so many different connotations. I think it often kind of implies the person was too sensitive or not strong enough, or
I didn't even think it that way. But
or that they, no matter what, they never could have found a place in this world.
And that's fucked up.
They're, like that, they were meant for a different world, like you said. But I think there's so many connotations with that. And I think they all kind of go to the thought of like being beyond help, Now,
I guess with that, because I'm also looking at it like through the eyes of a kid, with the examples you gave. And it's like, it's not for someone else to decide that. They decide that because it helps them to grieve in some way.
Yeah.
it's only for that person, and I guess that's why notes are important in those situations. But not everyone leaves a note,
No.
And when they do, it's still, figuring out what they meant when they weren't at a, the most, in the most right place in their mind.
Yeah, dude, we'll have to get into it another time. But with my brother's death, there were some weird things because he didn't leave a note, but there were like, it was like a bad detective story. Like there were spray painted notes in the woods, and other people's who died, their notes referenced him. It got weird and very confusing.
Yeah, I never really asked you a lot about that. We didn't really talk about it because I knew it was a really sensitive topic for you.
Yeah.
And I never
not so much anymore, but
yeah, I would love to talk with you more about that,
Me too.
On or off recording. That's your call.
Oh, we'll do both.
Okay.
But
I wanted to point out, I know you said you're a little tight on time right now. It's after 10:30.
We're good. We're good. We'll wrap here.
Okay.
But I feel not made for the world sometimes, but I have mixed feelings about that phrase because I don't think anyone's beyond help.
Right.
But I do feel like about him specifically, I do feel that he wasn't made for this world. Like, I don't think he or anyone else is beyond help, but there's part of me that emotionally feels like regardless of what the reason it is, not just mental health stuff, but I do feel like there are some people that are different, and it would be hard for them ever to have a home. And that doesn't mean they don't deserve or
now let me ask you
have
this on that perspective. Do you think, at least in his case, was it more that he phrase it the way you did before, that they didn't belong in this world, or what was the phrasing you just used a minute ago?
That I do think some people like just weren't. Now I don't know exactly what
what I was getting to was, are they not ready for this? Or are they not meant for this world, or is this world not meant for them?
I think in some cases it's fine. It can go either way. I think it depends on the person and the reasons why, but I definitely think the world isn't good enough for a lot of people. Both for some people that's out of greed or whatever, and for a lot of people it may be out of sensitivity or just the world was more unkind to them than it should be, ideally.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
And I want to echo that you said that, like, you don't think anyone's beyond help, and I think that's true, but I also think that there comes a point within people that they are beyond wanting help, and that's
a hope and despair thing.
Yeah, so that's the ideal situation is if someone's reaching out at all, whether it's every week or whatever, they have problems and they need help, like they're reaching out, that means they want help.
Yeah.
It's when they're not reaching out anymore that there's an issue. They're not, open to ideas of help. That's when there becomes an issue. I mean, there's an issue before then, but that's when it's not, feasible to let it go anymore, or push things to the side as they're just sad or they're just depressed. It's like you can't do that anymore.
I do think it's different with everyone, but that's often a very good sign. That reminded me, if anybody knows who did this, or just in general, shouts out to whoever, like maybe 6-7 years ago was spray painting hope all over Cincinnati. You're cool as fuck, because I there was like this person, they would tag Hope in cursive, like real small in just random spots, and I only saw like one or two of them. But that shit, man, dude, I had some bad days where like this one fucking tag, like it would change my thoughts just a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whoever does that shit, you're fucking awesome.
You heard it here first, folks.
Whoever
did that shit, you're fucking awesome.
Whoever did that shit, you're fucking awesome. Help me connect with them at some point. Do you got any things, any stuff? Bouncing, rolling, skating?
Bouncing, rolling, skating. Boy, I want to hit up a roller rink soon.
Bounce, roll, skate.
I mean,
fight, shoot,
not
hate.
really. We were talking about. I walked into work the other day and someone brought up first kisses, and they were like, "We were talking about our first kiss. Like, what was yours?" And it's like, oh boy, everyone's got a story, right?
Lots of mistakes.
Mine was at the Western Roll-A-Rama.
Oh my god, dude, that's hilarious.
With someone we know's cousin.
Good times with Western Roll-A-Rama.
No, that's all I got. Thanks again for listening, everybody. I'm gonna send a shout out to thank you to Approaching Human for letting us use his music. You can find his work on SoundCloud at Approaching-Human.
Thanks, John. Love you. Also, I was also gonna shout out real quick. Chaotic Steel, Stay Strange, Always Angry. Thank you, dude.
Make sure to check out the show page at Trash Cats Trashcast on Instagram for news and art from the show. If you're bored, you can check out Steven's trashy art.
Thank you. At Skyzix on Instagram. Also, just gonna say, if the freestyle ones aren't your thing, like I really enjoy doing these.
Yeah, I think that might be my favorite each time. Yeah.
They're weird.
Yeah.
It's weird. There's like ebbs and flows, and like I feel like trying not to be like. I feel like naturally I don't go super positive, but not to go too negative either. But just think shit.
Yeah, it's
shit,
real conversation though, and I think that's the beautiful part about it. It's the shit that we would talk about if we weren't being recorded. Yeah,
definitely. So we're gonna keep doing these for sure, but we got some cool topics ahead. What do we got? We got woodblock, Japanese woodblocking.
Yeah, Japanese woodblock prints coming up next, and then that's next week. Then after that we're gonna do talk about the afterlife.
Yes.
Our opinions and thoughts on it. This week we're gonna exit on a new track from Approaching Human. It's titled "The Persian Rug Thief." It's fucking, dude, it's super dope.
Dude, I real quick, he got stuck on this song. Like, he pissed me off so bad, man. He was working on this song. Like, I can't even imagine how many hours it was because it dragged on for months. He would give me different demos, like, every week, and the song would change, and I'd like something a lot, and then he'd fucking change it and take it out. And, like, by the end of it, it turned into something very different. And at first, I didn't like it because I liked all the other previous versions, and I wanted him to just finish the damn thing.
Yeah.
And then by the end, and he was learning a lot. Like, I totally understand why he did. And the more I've listened to this track, the more, I absolutely love it, but it's grown on me more and more. And I think it's just really fucking weird and cool. And we want to start, I wish we thought of it earlier. We just want to start playing new music and shit from people too. So we kick it off with some of my brother John's music from Approaching-Human on SoundCloud.
Yeah, thanks again, John. Once again, stay tuned in next week for our episode on Japanese woodblock prints. That's going to be all for us today. Stay classy, eat trashy.
See you next time.
Bye.
dude, I'm so terrible on uppers. It is bad.
Yeah, no, same. I can't
Except
fuck with it.
except crack. I do well with crack.
Oh my god, that's like the worst thing you've ever said.